be here. I am excited to tell you guys a little bit more about Uber and Lyft and just ride sharing in general. Yeah, I just ordered an Uber and it looks like he's pulled up here, so let's get on in. Hey guys, we're here in the Uber. I'm excited to ride in this ride share. It looks like we have a visitor in this car. Hey, would you mind turning down the music?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like he has a few questions about Uber and Lyft. So.
Yeah, man. So do you know anything about Uber and Lyft? Like the history of it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a pretty big fan of both companies. I know that Uber was started by Travis Kolizak and Lyft was started off by Logan Green, both in San Francisco, California. Uber was actually started in 2009 and Lyft started a year after. But Uber's always had the little head start between both of them. They're both a ride-sharing company.
Do you know anything about the services they both offer?
Yeah, so Uber offers Uber Pool, which is what you guys are doing right now, and then there's of course Uber X, which is typically just a direct Uber to your destination. There is Uber XL, which is for people who want to ride in big groups. That typically is a bigger car. For the most part, Uber requires that every car is a 4-door car, and Lyft does the same.
One of my last questions is, I heard about how Lyft did screening and Uber didn't. Can you elaborate on that? Do you know like anything about that?
Yeah, so I work for both Uber and Lyft, and I personally think Lyft's better, and I feel like a lot of people feel that way as well. Lyft's more secure, and it's more of a community company. They're known for their transparency. They actually do drug and alcohol screenings before you actually get hired to be a Lyft driver, and Uber doesn't. Uber is more so if you have a car, has 4 doors, they just do a background check, but typically everyone gets accepted, which is why Uber has ran into many problems in the past, many public relations problems, but let's not go into that.
Wow, look at that. Well, thank you for answering all those questions.
Now we are here with someone who's going to tell us about ride sharing in its present time. So let's head on over. Hi.
Hey there. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. Just here to learn a little bit more about ride sharing.
Sounds good. Let me help you out there. So Uber right now is valued at $72 billion. They're really working on growing their company as far as technology goes. Something they're really excited about is developing self-driving cars that would help lower the cost of operating as well as lower the fees for standard drives. It would also help bring groceries to people's front doors as well as provide healthcare for them. For Uber, right now, they're struggling with some bad PR. They're at the forefront of some bad sexist culture as well as some scandals that they've had to deal with. This has affected their stock prices as well as their image. However, Uber still owns 70% of rideshare spending worldwide. For Lyft, they're valued at $23 billion. They're most concerned with growth interdepartmentally as well as technologically. They're looking for new growth prospects every single day. They plan to go public soon within the next few months here in 2019. Right now they really struggle with financing. They're struggling with net losses at the end of every period, so they're working to improve on that. As far as both companies, they really offer the same products. They're loved by many people, but Uber just seems to be a step ahead right now.
That was awesome to hear from Charles. Now I am going to talk about how IT and the Internet of Things impacts ride sharing. A big part of Uber and Lyft is their technology. Without IT and the Internet of Things, rideshare companies would not be able to exist. For both companies, this is how it works. First, someone will go onto their rideshare app and let them know that they are in need of a ride. From there, the person needing a ride will let Uber or Lyft know where they need to be picked up. You are then paired with a driver and are told when they will be arriving to pick you up. Then, once your ride is complete, the rideshare company will ask you how your experience went. You are able to rate the ride on the app, and the cost is automatically charged to your card. This is all possible thanks to the Internet of Things, as it gives both Uber and Lyft the ability to have fast communication between their drivers and customers. Thanks to the Internet of Things, drivers and riders are able to send and receive information from each other's smartphones, in which data gets collected, summarized, analyzed in order for rideshares to take place. Both Uber and Lyft want to design their IT to make the workplace better and more efficient for employees. They also want to make sure their technology is not causing customers any trouble. These hopes of improvement with IT proved to be pretty difficult to manage due to the high number of offices and the constant growth of both companies. There are currently 600 offices, and this number is constantly rising. In regards to the technology that Uber and Lyft are using, the most important piece of technology that both companies rely on is geolocation. As time has gone on, it has gotten easier to gather information about the specifics of location features. Geolocation is able to identify both the customers' and drivers' devices for the initial steps of the rideshare process, and also provides driving directions for drivers. Uber and Lyft also use technology to send push notifications and to text passengers, and to allow both companies to use a cashless system. The technology these rideshare companies are using truly makes ride-sharing possible and efficient. All right, we are here today to hear about the pros and cons of Uber and Lyft. So let's head over to a friend who's done some research on it. Hi.
Hello.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the pros of ride-sharing?
Sure. So I would say some advantages of Uber. The first one probably would be that it's cashless and convenient. So you don't have to go down chasing a taxi for a ride on the street or wait half an hour for the taxi to arrive. You can just call it straight from the app and it will arrive within minutes. The credit card is also linked to the app and to your phone, so there's no cash being exchanged, which makes it a quicker way to get off. Another thing I would say is that it's an easier communication. The app allows you, after connecting with the driver, to look at his experience and communicate via text or call if you need him. Also, I would say the pricing. The Uber is usually less expensive than traditional taxis and car services. And I think the most important thing would be that it's safer. Not the driver nor the passenger have to carry or take out a big amount of money since everything is done through the app, which means that there's less chances of crimes, and passengers and drivers are rated on every trip. So which means that if there's a low ratings, there's a chance for your account to be deactivated, which means that it makes the app much safer than going around and getting a taxi.
It was great to hear about the pros of ride sharing. There is a lot of advantages of doing it. However, in this video, we will be talking about some of the cons, as there are a few. And I'll head over to another friend who has also done some research, and we'll hear it. Let's go.
Hello guys.
Hi.
So today I'll be talking to you about some of the cons that Uber and Lyft have in common. For example, the most common one for both companies is that the lack of information they give you on your insurance. Some people do not know that your personal auto insurance could drop you for being a Uber driver or Lyft driver because you become a higher liability to them, or they might raise your insurance price, and Uber and Lyft both fail to do that in some aspect. Another concern that both applications or both apps or companies have is the safety issue, which there's been allegations of sexual assault, kidnapping, or even scamming from both sides. Another one that's mainly for Uber is that the bosses lack the recognition to their employees. You're either doing good or you're being cut. Another thing that is negative for both is the wear and tear on your vehicle. Many people don't realize that if anything goes wrong, that price falls on you, not the company. And then Lyft does not offer a sign-in bonus as Uber does. Lyft is also only in the US and Canada and not internationally as Uber is. And lastly, both companies promise you to have control over your own time. However, you can't have control over the traffic. So which means like if you live in bigger cities, the less likelihood you are of actually finding a ride or a ride to give, especially if you live in like big cities. And those would be the main cons for Uber and Lyft.
Alright, so before I drop you guys off, you sounded pretty interesting in our companies. Like, do you know a thing or two, or where we might be headed towards the future?
Yeah, well, I asked about the history, but I'm very interested about the future.
How did you have the phone? Just keep going.
I have 2 words for you, which are flying cars. What do you think about flying cars? When you say flying cars, CEO Dara, the last name is too complicated to mention, but Dara talked about how cars, the future about Uber was not just about cars, it was more about flying cars, and so they want to implement this new service about air mobility. They, in a sense, want to conquer the whole transportation industry through their IT, and they think they're the company to do that. And they're working with the FAA and also with NASA, and also the transportation companies of each city to basically implement this by 2023. And when you think about the future of Uber, it's about them building the trust with their company. And once they have the people's trust, they have the people's profits, in a sense. The people's money. They'll have huge profits. And you're thinking of 20, 30 years from now, you would have this be available and affordable not to only the rich, but also the old, not only to the rich and the ridiculously rich, the people who are ultra rich, in a sense. It's for anyone who really wants to just have a transportation from the air. So you're thinking of helicopters or anything like that through urban cities. And this is all possible, of course, through the IT and the Internet of Everything. You're gonna see implemented in the app. So yeah, that's the future, in a sense.
Alright, and that concludes my blog for today. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions about Uber or Lyft or ride sharing in general, please comment below and I'll get back to you. I hope you learned a lot and learned as much as we did. Thank you.